Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cabbage Critiques with a very special episode where we celebrate our good dear friend Karl's birthday. Say hi, Karl.
Hi, Karl.
Where we're going to be reviewing a Ben 10 Race Against Time. Or is it Alien Swarm? Or is it Vilgax Attacks? Or is that a video game? Who knows?
I think you might be talking about Brainiac attacks.
Who's Brainiac? I thought we were talking about Doomsday. But in all seriousness, we wanted to do something special for Karl's birthday since it was a few weeks ago. So we asked him what he wanted to review, and lo and behold, we're here reviewing Ben 10 Race Against Time from 2007. Karl, do you want to give us a little background about this movie?
Well, the movie is based off the original series Ben 10, which started back in December 27, 2005. Made by Man of Action, a team of comic book writers and artists came together to make their own TV shows. It's had many spin-offs like Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, Omniverse, and a reboot series that premiered in 2016. The movie was actually directed by Alex Winters and premiered in 2007, November 21st, 2007 in the United States.
And so basically, for the people who don't know, Ben 10 is a kid who finds this alien watch. Okay, follow me here. And this watch contains the DNA code of, well, at first it's 10, of 10 aliens. And he can switch in between them whenever he wants, for the most part. That's the basic general
That's the basic
idea.
plot synopsis.
And so he, along with and his cousin Gwen, go off on all these misadventures throughout different planets, the galaxy, all this kind of jazz, you know. And so this was the first of two live action movies they actually did based off the show.
Yeah, there's this one and another one for Ultimate Alien Force.
Yeah. Got lots of names going on. Don't worry. So, do we know who starred in this movie?
Yes, we do. We have, as our Ben Tennyson in this movie, we have Graham Phillips. As our Grandpa Max, we have Lee Majors. And as our Gwen is Haley Ram.
Graham Phillips.
Was this movie a TV only, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the Wikipedia page right here. Yeah, it was a Cartoon Network original film. So yes, it aired on TV.
It never went to the majors. It never went to the theaters.
Which is probably a good thing.
This movie is not long enough for a movie theater. It's only an hour and 6 minutes.
Yeah, it's barely breaks the hour mark.
Fair.
It also has had the highest quality with CGI and things like that.
Yeah, well, we are talking about a movie from 2007. So
there are still movies with really good CGI.
And to be fair, it could have been worse. It could have been worse.
You could have just had guys in suits.
Yeah, from a bygone era, you know. Only thing of note that I can find Graham Phillips in besides this was Evan Almighty and The Little Mermaid Live. So quite the filmography going on.
Yep. It's a very good variety of things, honestly.
Stunning. Alrighty, so since he wanted to do this movie, Karl offered himself to take the lead here. So whenever you're ready, Karl, take it away.
So this movie opens up with a mysterious figure showing up and destroying the sign of Bellwood. We have no clue who the heck this guy is and why he does not like this found sign.
Mysteries. We gotta love them.
Then we arrive in the main town where the same mysterious guy, we have no clue who the heck he is just not like Windows and starts blowing them up. Like well,
to be fair, he probably uses a Mac.
He probably
doesn't like sand.
Maybe he just doesn't like his own reflection.
Maybe.
I hate mirrors. They're made out of. I hate windows too because they also let me see my reflection.
Or maybe he just
I
hates
I
sand,
hate
like Anakin Skywalker.
I hate sand. It's coarse, it's rough, and it gets everywhere.
Then we have our first transformation. We actually don't get to see it. The transformation. We get to see Heat Blast, voiced by David Franklin, not the original voice actor, Steve Blum from the original series.
Although
And
to be fair, in the original series, they only had about 10 different voice actors. Wasn't
Yeah.
a lot of reprised roles.
Oh yeah, like Steve Bloom played Vilgax, Heat Blast, and someone else. I don't remember the other character, but I know he played Heat Blast in Vilgax.
Better get your money's worth.
Yeah, so they have a little fight with his henchmen. The sheriffs show up and they get their butts kicked by his henchmen. And Heat Blast kills the guy in air quotes by burning him alive.
Kind of, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So after Ben defeats him, he transforms back into his human form, back to our Graham Phillips. And Ben says, "Oh, I need to go find them if there's any more aliens in town." "Well, sorry, Ben, you got to go to bed. You got school in the morning." Like, oh man.
Oh, the problems and tribulations of being a kid superhero.
One thing, why do kids in every movie hate to go to school?
I mean, I know a lot of kids in real life who don't hate going to school. I mean, not on that level. I mean, I wasn't a personal big fan of it. I didn't whine about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I went because I had to go.
Exactly. Didn't mean I had to like it.
So you have to go, otherwise your parents will get a very nice call from the school. And then if you don't go anymore, if you keep not going, you'll get a call. Your parents will get a call from the truants officer. And then they will go to jail. So stay in school, kids.
Don't do drugs.
Yeah. So the next day, Ben goes to school, and he's having trouble getting back to normal life after being a superhero for over the summer.
So
And
is
he's
this movie a follow-up to the original series, sort of?
actually, I think this movie is in its own separate canon.
There are
They make
kinda, but also kinda at the same time not.
they make references to it, like in Ultimate Alien, when the Return of Ben 10,000 comes. There's the object of the hands of Armageddon, which is also in this movie. Gwen makes a spell to see it, and there's a scene of Grandpa Max. It's animated, so it's an animated version of the Ben of that world, the Gwen of that world, and the Max of that world. But that's the only reason, because Eon is the main villain in that movie, which we'll get to later. But anyways, he's getting picked on by his old bully Cash, and his sometimes friend, sometimes enemy TJ, who sticks.
Hey, that's me, but in a different universe.
Yeah. So they decide to gum up his locker. This is back in the day when kids actually had lockers. Not anymore. Back in middle schools. So Ben gets a piece of paper and tries to clean up the gum. And he says, "Well, we thought you'd get you on a going away present, loser." He's like, "Clean it up, Cash. Make us." And then he takes some of the gum and throws it in. It's the principal. And he gets detention.
Did y'all ever piss off your principal?
No, actually, nope, never did that.
Jacob, you're awfully quiet. Did you ever piss off your principal?
Either.
I feel like that's a lie.
I've definitely made the assistant principals very angry sometimes.
My principal was the nicest lady you would ever meet, so, Go figure. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Go ahead.
Oh, he also gets bullied by two girls in the talent show that they're having that he tried to flirt with earlier in the movie, which he got rejected really badly.
That is one thing I did want to mention. Am I missing something? Because Ben never seemed like the flirty type.
No, no.
He was also kind of the boys rule, girls drool kind of
Oh yeah, just
kid.
look at the original series, the way he treated his cousin.
Oh, they were always button heads, just like my real cousin.
Yeah, well, we got stories about that.
Well, see, when it comes to cousins, you either love them or hate them. There's no in between.
Yeah, so he turns into gray matter after him being picked on more in a diner. And he turns into gray matter, rigs a few machines like the pie machine that you see in old 1950s diners. Just a diner, so I should. He rigged the hot dog stand, a hot dog flipper, and the soda spreaders from like if you've ever been like at a Farrell's or a cruise ship where they make the sodas.
Mm-hmm.
And he rigs them all up after turning off the power to rig all this stuff, turns it back on, and Josh and JT gets grilled with pies and hot dogs and soda and I think smoothies at one point. It's a very funny scene. And Gray Matter just laughing his butt off.
Pandemonium, JR.
And after that, he oh wait, let's see. He and Gwen come across the villain because he scares Gwen she's taking pictures for the yearbook because she has to go to the same school as Ben, and he makes like a bleh face, like his tongue sticking out of his mouth face, like you do. And she's uploading the pictures, and there's this weird effect on his picture right behind him. She clears it up with a software glitch software hack she does. And we find out it's this weird guy Ben fought in earlier in the movie. And Grandpa Max says that's Eon,
where she somehow
time walker.
Do that. I mean,
it's established in the original series and later on that she's pretty smart with tech.
True. But I do want to make a quick point. As someone who's actually worked in video and software, you can't zoom in and enhance on something. That kind of technology does not exist. This isn't CSI.
Okay, we have to keep the plot moving. It's only an hour and 6-minute movie.
I'm not making it a knock on the movie, but
it probably was a 2-hour movie with all the commercials. Because if you ever watch like the HBO Max, which is actually on HBO Max, sponsored, not sponsored. That should sponsor us, please.
Sponsor us, please.
And every time they get to a scene, it'll fade to black and restart because that's exactly where they put the commercials for like the 30-minute, not 30 minutes, 30 seconds, maybe a minute commercials.
Yeah.
But anyways, Grandpa Mac tells them it's Eon, and they go to this plumber base after Ben puts on his shirt, which we find out he has not washed all summer. Have your parents do your laundry for you, kids, otherwise you'll have a very sticky shirt.
And that's disgusting.
Yes. But he puts the shirt back on. They get to the facility where he is held. And obviously it is broken since he is out of jail. And they find this guy named Dean Jacobs.
Jacob, I didn't know you were in this movie too.
Yeah, actually was.
Fun fact is, Dean Jacobs was played by Alex Winters, the director of this movie.
Wow, he directed and starred in it. What a pal.
Well, he was only in for a few minutes to tell us some extra plot stuff and then die.
Well, he was also in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, so you know what? Two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, so after that, they go to... Jacobs tells them to go to a hardware store, which is which they find out is a secret underground base for the plumbers. They get there and it just looks like a hardware store. And Ben says, I've been to this hardware store many times. I know. And Grandpa Max says, well, if you've been here so many times, tell me where everything is. And then he goes like, turn right once, turn left once, turn left twice, turn left. So it's polite not to flush. It's polite not to flush. And he flushes it. And this elevator shows up like, hey, I wasn't here before. But you said you've been here before, Ben. And they go down.
The classic grandpa teasing you kind of fair, you know?
And as they're going down, one thing you'll learn about Grandpa Max if you ever watch the show, he likes a lot of weird food. Like, he'll cook octopus, sea urchin eggs.
I mean, as a person who's actually eaten buffalo before, I can respect that.
Yeah, but he offers them cricket antenna. Like, ew, I would not eat cricket antennas.
I was this close to eating a scorpion once.
They don't eat scorpions.
Low key, I was gonna grab it by the end of its tail and eat it whole without besides the stinger.
So they go down and they come to find out a lot of people from within, like the Miss Dalton from the diner, the principal, the firefighter, and a few other people from around Bellwood are actually plumbers.
They're all
And
in on it.
Miss Dalton says to Ben, "That was a nice pie party of gray matter gave those kids." Teasing that she actually knew it was Ben who did it, not a
Some
random
kind of
accident.
technical malfunction.
Yeah, so they tell them about the hands of Armageddon, and then Eon's
My
minions
favorite Mortal
show up.
Kombat game.
Eon's minions show up, and they get their butts kicked. And there's this running joke in the movie where the principal, let's see if I can remember his name. It was Ed something. Has this long chain of keys where he has the key to everything in this building. It's like, it's this, nope, not this one, not this one. Finally finds it. And by the time he finds it, the lady just takes a hammer and breaks off the lock to get the weapon. It's like, yeah.
God forbid their life be on the line.
Well, we'll get to that later. But anyways, they get the weapons. They defeat the minions. The minions go. Well, they get the minions defeat. Not really defeat. They capture the plumbers, and Ben runs away after trying to use the watch. And Eon detects it, and he chases after Ben in a. First, he runs away after grabbing the watch and just kind of disabling because his time abilities that we learn later is affecting the watch. And he decides he needs to drive a car. Even though, why can't he just use the pedals and not float in it? You'll never know. We don't know why he can't. He just has to float in the car and use telepathic abilities. Eventually, he gets into a truck and chases Ben down into a dead end until this Asian guy shows up in this disguise and shoots Eon with his laser blaster, which is the same Asian man from earlier in the movie at the diner. And during the chaos of that scene, he goes like, "Darla, more coffee, please."
Jeez, it's like everyone in my real relationship. They're all part of a cult.
Yeah, so we find out he's part of it. And Ben sneaks back into his own house, which in this one, I don't think is ever established in the original content, in the original show, but I don't think Ben's parents were hippies, were they? Because they very much acted like hippies.
Maybe they were stoned.
Like the weird thing is his parents say, "Don't call us mom and dad. It's Sean." Yeah, what is her name? It is Sandra and Karl. Not spelled the same way. Just
wait, we're all in this movie. There was they got half of me right. They got a TJ. We had a Jacobs, and now we got a Karl. We're all. How come you guys didn't tell me you were in this movie?
We're all in this, but
under pseudonyms.
They use I don't remember them being hippies. They're very supportive. Don't call us mom and dad. Call us Sandra and Karl. And they're
like I said, they're stoned.
They say did we upset?
Cloud9.
Yeah. They say did we upset you because you didn't call you missed dinner? You didn't call? No, we were working. So he has to think of an excuse on the top of his head.
Yeah.
So he said, "Oh, we're in me and Gwen, my cousin, are in the talent show," which in the previous scene showed he was trying to sign up for the talent show, and these two girls who he flirted with and they are now bullying him said, "Oh, you got to have a talent." It was and then he pulls out the watch. He's like, "Oh, what kind of weird watch is that?" And it's like, "Oh, Ben, put that away. That trick isn't ready yet." Correct. Oh, for a magic act. But
you see it a lot in some other movies, but I think it was cleverly done here.
Yeah, they used it cleverly at the end, but anyways. So Ben gets into his room, and then he lays on his bed, and the light comes on. It's Grandpa Max. How Grandpa Max got in his room without Karl and Sandra knowing, we'll never know. But
To be fair, like I said, stoned out of their mind.
they saw Ben come in though, so
It's been what, a good 5 minutes? That's plenty of time.
yeah. Well, anyway, so he decides he's not gonna. Grandpa Max wants to send him out of town because Eon wants Ben in the Omnitrix. Like, what character and what evil bad guy in the show doesn't want that damn watch?
I mean, to be fair, it's a cool watch.
And a very powerful watch with over 1,912 DNA samples in it.
Even though he he uses like 50 of them.
He has unlocked 77 by the end of Omniverse, but that's a whole nother cup of tea.
But by this point, he only had like what, 10?
Yeah, no, it technically has 11 which a good thing about this movie is the original theme song is good, but this gives like a more of a rockish sound for it. And it counts down through the aliens, like you get Heat Blast, Diamond Head, Rip Jaws, Accelerate, Forearms. And at the end,
Digi-Evolution, if you've ever
yeah,
seen the Digimon.
but at the end, in the original series, it showed Ghost Ray before they got the Heat Blast. But in this one, they went from I think Stinkfly to Cannonball, then Heat Blast. So I think in this time, Cannonball was the other alien. He lost Ghost Freak.
Gotcha. Which is a shame because I always liked Ghost Freak.
He comes back in season 3.
You're always into the weird characters.
Shut up.
He's not wrong.
I mean, he makes references to the Twilight Zone. How can I not love him?
But anyway, so he decides he'll stay. He convinces Grandpa Max to stay in town, but he has to have a babysitter, which is a bunch of plumbers operatives. So he's like, as Gwen shows up the next day at school, like, has Eon show up? Impossible. We got like 4 operators. We got the electrician up on here working on we got the fireman. We got the flower selling lady. So
apparently everyone's just part of this plumber cult.
So he goes into school and he goes into the school and he sits on the bleachers thinking to himself, and the principal shows up, which is part of the organization as well.
They're a little bunch of jobbers.
So he's like, if you must be weird talking to me now that you know I'm a plumber. Like, yeah, and then he's like, Ben, if you need anything, and he starts to talk very slowly. And then he gets thrown back. It lands in a bucket of dodgeballs. And then Eon shows up. Like, give me the watch. Like, starts to grab on the watch, and Ben pulls the fire alarm. Which, what kid has not pulled the fire alarm?
I haven't.
Well, you've never been in public school, at least not for very long.
I've also never pulled a fire alarm.
True, but
I did.
Quick thing I wanted to point out: Eon's design in this movie.
Yeah, it's a guy with like purple lights on his arms, a biker.
I mean that looks a lot like the actual character design, and I know it's harder to pull off these more alien appearances. I can get that.
Mainly on like TV show budget.
Yeah, I checked the Wikipedia page, and this movie was on a $5 million budget. And
which is not a lot.
For a movie, that's not a lot. But he has like a human-ish form with his face, and not gonna lie, he looks like a villain out of High School Musical.
He's not. It looks like they just took the actor and just like used a bunch of they have that age regression makeup stuff. They use like age adding tech to him. Like, let's make you look very, very old.
Exactly.
So Ben pulls
but his actual like normal design, I think, is actually pretty fine.
They have not really changed the design over the years. It's been that constant design.
Well, it's a cool design. I can say that with full confidence.
I think the only major difference is they like got rid of the bottom half of his mask and it made like you can see his mouth now in Omniverse.
It's like, oh yes, man's wife is his life, Mr. UPS man.
But that was about the only change they really did to his design, besides giving him a lightsaber-ish knife that disappeared after just after use. But anyways, Ben pulls the fire alarm he can punch Eon and let him go, and he transforms into the second alien transformation of the movie, Diamond Head, another very popular alien from the original series.
Not as much my favorite, but he's cool.
Still very popular.
Yeah.
But anyways, they fight and he fights Diamond Head fights Eon until he realizes when he pulled the fire alarm, the way for them to get outside is through the gym, which is where Ben and Eon are. So Ben has Eon disappears because Eon has teleporting ability, and Ben in Diamond Head transformation has to hide in the girls' locker room, and he sits on the stall like exactly where I wanted to spend fifth period.
In the girls' locker room.
Like he's sitting next to Gwen's standing next to the gym as you see the green light from the door and comes out. Did Eon attack you? Yeah, and I got a trap for him. And we set out to a park. And Ben and Gwen are sitting out there and she says, if I've read your dumb ideas from 1 to 10, this is about a 15 because this is one of your stupidest ideas.
But before we get too far off the subject, I do want to make a quick little design note about Diamond Head. It overall looks pretty good, but the texture of the actual diamonds looks wooden in a way, if that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the crystals you see, because I know they couldn't get the shape.
I hate to keep ragging on the design because, of course, they're running on a TV movie budget.
Yeah.
And I'm not really going to use it to knock it against the movie, but it's just something I noticed.
Yeah, like nothing you can do about the designs they were working off were the show designs, so they couldn't really change much. But the color isn't even really. It's close. It's not exactly that greenish, pearlish color he usually is. More like an emerald green.
Yeah.
But anything else before I continue?
No. Go ahead. 15 out of 10. Bad idea. Gotcha.
Yeah. So after that, Ben he sets a trap, and Grandpa Max finds it. I was like, "How did you find us?" I looked all over this whole dang town, which actually kind of reminded me of in Crisis on Infinite Earths when Barry's looking for Sarah across the city of Central City.
Okay. Where the heck was Vicky?
Anyways, after that, he gets captured. He gets captured and taken to the plumber base, where Grandpa and Gwen are being held on the right-hand side and Benedict on the left. And the plumbers are locked up in their own cell. Which is kind of funny if you think about it. And so Ed shows up. He's like, I got the key. Ring, which is like, Ed, you got to lose some of those keys or give the key job to someone else. You have a habit of not finding the key when we need it. Am I right, Jacob? So Ed shows up with his key ring, which like, Ed, you need to give someone else this key job because you have a habit of too many keys, or disperse these keys between all of you because you have a habit of when we need the key, you take forever to find the dang thing.
Like I said, God forbid that their life be in danger.
Which it literally is. They've been sitting there for over I think 3 hours. He's like, sorry, I woke up in the nurse's office and the nurse won't let me go.
Hello, nurse.
But so he's looking for the key. He's like, Ed, over here. There's this big red button that says release door. Push that dang button, Ed. And he does, finally. And they bring a bunch of weapons and they get their butts kicked again. you guys really suck. Good job.
Pretty much.
But they come to find out that Eon wants Ben because locked inside the watch is a Cronian DNA sample, which is the species of alien that Eon is. So the idea is that Eon is this version of Ben locked inside the Omnitrix. So after he gives his DNA essentially to the Omnitrix, he transforms Ben and disappears. And he turns into Christian Alling, aka Eon, which is this like tan dude. He looks pretty tan in the movie.
Pretty much.
He looks like they just found him off on the street. Like, hey, you look like you're a surfer. Come here, we need you for a movie real quick. You won't be very long.
Beach. That was the movie I was thinking of.
It's good to help you out, but so Grandpa hits Ben. Well, earlier in the movie, Grandpa Max was working on a wrench that had a little laser on it. So he's telling Gwen to kick his pocket to open the laser to blast the chains off. She eventually does it, and he punches Ben to knock him off course, and Gwen deals with Ben. And here, a little later, she is trying to help Ben remember things. Like, giving him memories, like, I remember when I pinned you down when you cried when I pinned you down when you were, like, 5. She said a few other things, but I can't remember any of the other ones.
That's a deep cut.
I can't remember a single thing from when I was 5. Low key.
Well, you're only, 15 now? That was only 10 years ago.
Close
For
enough.
Ben, that was only 5 years ago, so he's got a little more time to remember. But he eventually remembers, and he says, "For the record, I didn't cry when you pinned me when I was 5. There was a little dust in the air. There's something in my eye."
You can get a plenty of person with the old dust in the eye trick.
And then he slaps the watch, which is oddly underneath his coat that he was wearing. But he saves Grandpa because Grandpa decided to take two electricity sticks into the hands of Armageddon. And by the way the movie shows, it looks like Grandpa Max is going to die. And Ben's like, "Grandpa, I can't lose you now. You're a very important character to this movie and a very highly paid actor. We can't get rid of you." So they save him, and he says, "That's not something I taught you." Like, no, it wasn't. And then Gwen remembers, "Oh crap, the talent show. We got to get to the talent show because that's super important in this movie."
Especially right now.
Well, she looks at her watch. Is like, "Oh crap, the talent show starts in a few minutes." And the principal he says, "Okay, you can come in my car. I'll drop you around back so you don't get to be seen with the principal." I don't see what's so bad of being seen with the principal.
Yeah.
And then old Eon. I thought we were going to do old Eon.
I mean, if you're going to get Lee Majors in your movie, you might as well use him as much as you can, you know?
But we have old Eon shows up with his minions like, "You fool! You ruined a perfectly good plan that probably took me 10 minutes to think of."
If only he actually said that.
And he didn't say it. It's like, "You ruined this plan," but so the minions, they fight the minions. Ben gets thrown and he slaps the watching gears into the third alien in this movie, transformation-wise, Wild Bunt.
Who I liked as a kid. He reminded me of Blanca from Street Fighter.
So then Ben turns into Wild Bunt, and actually, a fun fact: Dee Bradley Baker voices him, which he also played the original Wild Mutt. So he's one of the original only actors from the Ben 10 franchise, definitely, to play the same character, play Wild Mutt.
Well, fun fact for you guys.
In digital.
He also's been in a lot of other stuff. Hold on. He's been in Avatar, American Dad, SpongeBob, Codename Kids Next Door, Gravity Falls, Steven Universe, Phineas and Ferb, The Clone Wars, Ben 10, The Legend of Korra. Just tons of animated shows from the time.
And if I remembered right, in Avatar he plays Appa and Momo, and I think in Phineas and Ferb he plays Perry.
Legend. The absolute legend.
Yeah, but he turns into Wild Mutt, which fun about Wild Mutt, he don't talk. He goes like
Yeah. What's in the name? He's wild.
yeah, but he fights off him and eventually knocking Eon into the hands, destroying him and Eon at the same time. Time is then restored, and then Ben and Gwen gotta like run to the talent show. But Ben is still Wild Mutt, so the Bellwood Sassy, which is again a very stupid name for a dance group, but
Yeah.
anyways, they do their performance, and then the principal's like, next up is Gwen Dini and her assistant. Because I guess Gwen gets to be the Houdini and Ben has to be the assistant.
Or Ben.
Poor Ben. But he's like, they eventually show up, but the principal wants this like guy who reads the cards off, like who they're playing. Is like, go find them. Like, no, my job is to sit here and read these stupid cards. If they don't show, that isn't my fault. And they show up, and Wild Mutt shows up because, like, ooh, this is Wild Mutt. He's an alien dog. He's an alien. He's not a big dog. And then he's like, the watch starts to beep, and Gwen just pulls down the curtain, falls down, and you just see this bunch of like moving curtain, and then
Moving backdrops.
moving backdrop is. So Ben comes out like, wow, that was so good. It's just Ben turning back, but they don't know he can change.
Again, pretty slick for something that's been done before. Pretty slick.
And then he's like, I guess Ben does know WoW, but hopefully he doesn't send Wild Mud after you, Cash. Kinda JT. But at the end,
not me.
after the show, Grandpa Mac trusts him that it's time to put the Omnitrix away for a while. And he and Ben and Gwen go for pizza. And he's like, oh, I'll get like lava, like some kind of lava and something else on my pizza.
Pizza time.
And Ben admits that he will admit this, but in space, an alien armada assembles, hinting that Ben and Max's archenemy, Vilgax, will return.
Dun, dun, dun!
And that plot thread goes absolutely nowhere.
Yep, because to my knowledge, Alien Swarm doesn't follow this continuity. Am I right by saying that?
Technically, originally it was supposed to, because they were going to get Lee Majors to reprise his role as Grandpa Max, but I think he had other obligations, so we got the other guy.
Yeah. So yeah, Vilgax, just like Shao Kahn at the end of the first Mortal Kombat movie. It's the second MK reference of tonight. Let's keep a counter on that. But not really followed up on, unless you watched MK Annihilation. And if you did, why would you? But that was Ben 10, Race Against Time. So
I think it's pretty good for.
I thought it was fun.
Your thoughts?
I thought it was pretty good for a TV movie.
For a made-to-TV movie, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it's pretty decent for what it is.
For like, you can't take this as in the context of the other movies we reviewed, like Iron Man, other theatrical released movies, because it's unfair to do that.
Yeah.
So in the context of this being a made-for-TV movie, on the budget it was on, I'd give it a B-.
What about you, Jacob?
I would give it a B-.
Because if we were to compare this to the other movies, I'd probably give it like a C+, but I'm cutting it some slack. B-, pretty good. decent
Yeah,
movie.
It's fun.
It has its fun moments.
I'm not being biased how much I love the show. I'm going to give it a B.
Solid B grade. I can respect that.
Because again, it's a budget of 5 million
Yeah.
on a movie budget, which I even think a CW show has a bigger budget than that.
And
Yeah.
you know what? This movie actually, in a way, its aesthetic reminds me a lot of another movie we reviewed, Fantastic Four. You know, those mid 2000s superhero movies. And even though this is a Marvel movie, it does give off that aesthetic. You know.
Yeah.
Because this was before the big CGI of the MCU really took place, and it was all crisp looking. You know.
Yeah. Because back in the day before the MCU, superhero movies literally went with there has to be a big, not really CGI, but it has to be a big battle at the end, because otherwise they don't know how to end a superhero movie.
It's all. It's unfair to compare it since they're two completely different genres. But if you look back to, let's say, one of my favorite movies, Godzilla vs. Destroyer from, I believe, 1990. This is back when they had people actually walking around in mini dioramas with the suits.
Yeah.
But if you look at nowadays with the recent release of Godzilla vs. Kong, you know, it's all CGI, basically.
Yes, like trying to compare the original Mighty Morphin movie, which had pretty crappy CGI from a 1996 movie, compared to the 2017 movie, which had a very bigger budget and story, but that's another different point. Looked a lot better than the CGI fight at the end.
But also in a way, it's kind of charming when you really look at it. It reminds you of a different time.
Yeah, like things back in the day where they didn't have the technology we have.
In fact, superhero movies back then weren't really taken as seriously as they are now.
I think director Martin Scorsese, of course, forgive me if I say his name, because he'll never say this. And if he does, I don't really care if I said your name wrong. But he said superhero movies are not movies. They're just glorified comic books. Or I'm paraphrasing, but they're not really movies. Like they don't
By this point, the only superhero movies that were actually critically acclaimed were Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Well, and very rarely do superhero movies even get even nominated for Golden Globes or Golden Globe. I think that's the one they do for movies. But
there's the Oscars, Academy Awards.
I think Black Panther got nominated for visual effects, so they don't get it for biggest movie of the year.
No, not usually.
I think only a superhero movie that really got a nomination, and I think won it was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but that's not a really live action movie. That's an animated movie.
Very beautifully
got for best animated movie. Still a good movie, but still very rarely.
Yeah, very. So yeah, there is a certain charm to these kind of old style superhero movies, and you know what? When I was younger, I was really into Ben 10. I loved it because you know what? I was the target demo.
When I was a little kid, I liked it.
Yeah.
So you know what? Looking back at this, it's fun. You know what? It doesn't have to be amazing. It was fun. And, you know, it's good to escape into movies and to have fun and not have to be overly critical sometimes. I mean, yeah, we're called Cabbage Critiques, but you know, we can't call it Cabbage Fun Times.
Yeah, because it doesn't have the same letter in it.
It doesn't have the same alliteration. But besides that, do we have any final thoughts, fellas?
I got nothing unless Jacob does.
Jacob?
No, I don't really have any last thoughts on this.
So to clarify, our scores were B-, B-, and a B.
Well, let me rephrase that for him. DJ says B-, Jacob says B-, and I say B.
Yeah.
You forget they
passing
can't really,
grade.
you say they
passing grade
can't see
from
us,
us.
buddy. They can't see us.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, passing grade from all of us. Solid movie. That's a really good way to describe it. Solid, fun, and in a way a product of its time, but also at the same time kind of timeless in its own right.
Yeah, very funny.
Yeah. Alrighty, I think that about wraps it up for this week.
Sorry, guys, we went on a month hiatus.
Again, yes, we wanted to get that Flashpoint episode out in time for the anniversary, which we did.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, we want to line it up.
But as of right now, once again, we don't know what we're gonna do next week. However, we got another guy's birthday coming up.
Again, they
And-
know they can't see you, right?
Oh, come on. They all know it's yours truly. And I got something lined up for you guys. I'm not gonna say it yet, but
Yeah,
I think you might have a hint. We'll see you next time.
Well, and one other thing, FYI, I don't think we'll come back to that One Division project. We're dropping that, unfortunately.
Probably not. Probably not.
We're not coming back to it, unfortunately,
Yeah,
guys.
if you guys have it, you guys should just watch the whole thing.
It was our trailer to watch the rest of the show. Because honestly, if you want our thoughts on the rest of it, it was really good.
And don't believe all the fan theories, and don't get upset when your fan theory isn't right, people.
Look, we wanted Magneto as much as you guys, but we knew it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
You mean? I
It's
think
too
you mean
much.
Mephisto, not
I mean,
Magneto.
we could have had Magneto.
True,
If
but
you guys want Magneto, watch the X-Men movie if you have Disney Plus.
That's something we should do sometime. We should review the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Then again, I wouldn't want to impose Origins Wolverine on you guys, so
I don't even think that one's on Disney Plus.
I am 69% sure. Alrighty, but for
Okay.
real.
See you
We'll
guys.
see you guys next time. Farewell.
Peace.